It's 10 o'clock, so I'll go ahead and call this meeting or workshop to order. This workshop is on it's a public hearing, really not a workshop, on the proposed budget, rates, and everything that goes with it. As we had discussed in the past, and really this is really for the public in case anyone has any questions. What the court decided, this is a proposal, it's not approved yet. But I guess most important to the public is we are planning on lowering our tax rate $0.015. It's not much, but it's a little bit of help that hopefully will offset some of the increased values that we've had in the county. I wish other taxing entities would go along with us. However, some I think have chosen to increase their taxes, which I think, well, I guess they do their budgets. But anyhow, that's the biggest thing. We are proposing to lower about $0.015. In the budget, we also have an increase for everyone across the board in the county of 5% with a floor of $1,500. What that means is people that are making the lower salaries, they get $1,500 regardless of whatever the 5% is. You know, the 5%. Let's say someone making, just I guess for 20,000, then their raise at 5% would be 1,000, but they would get the 1,500 anyhow. So some of our employees will be getting a higher than 5%, but certainly no less than 5%. Those are some of the changes. We did open up, or we're proposing to open up a emergency management department, which we didn't have before, but due to COVID and fires and hurricanes and all that, I think we're at the size that we do need to have emergency management equipment ready and to go in case of emergency. So it is budgeted. Whether we open it up or not, that's still to be seen, but it is in the budget. Those are pretty much the biggest changes that we've had. I don't know if you all have any questions or anything you want to discuss any further. The proposed approval would be at our regular commissioners court meeting, which is September 13. I'm sorry? 13?
Yep.
Okay, that's the proposed. Come on in, brother. That'd be when we will be taking action on approving the rates and the budget and everything else. So there's still time to discuss and possibly change things. I will be posting or filing with our county clerk a budget today because that is required, but it is subject to change. It's not balanced yet. It's very close, but it's not the final product. That's about what I have. Any questions or comments that anyone might have? Commissioners, anything you all want to add?
No.
Well, if not, thank y'all for coming. Normally in public hearings we have them because they're required by law, and it gives the public an opportunity to express their views, and certainly we would listen. But unfortunately, we get very little participation.
The value on the land, los taxes que estaban que van a subir, it's because of the value went up, or?
That is correct, yeah. The value, my understanding is that we had state appraisers that came in and they found that our values were extremely low, and by statute they have to be, I think, 90% at 90% of value that they assess, and we were way under. So that's the reason that they went sky high.
In like como la casa mía, right? Like, no es una de las más grandes ahí, and I'm paying more taxes than other houses.
Okay,
How can I adjust that?
okay.
You're gonna have to go through the, ¿cómo se llama eso?
The
El
appraisal.
appraisal board,
Yeah,
review board.
Right.
Necesitas hacer una junta, I don't know, you can still can para este año, pero necesitas haber hecho una junta y luego ellos vas y les dice, hey, ¿por qué yo? Y les explicas, te llevas tus documentos y todo, y deben de bajarte algo, o sea, no.
Yeah.
Muchas veces no, pero muchas veces sí baja. But you gotta go through the review board, esa es en el appraisal district.
Okay.
we really, the Commissioners Court has no say
No.
on the values that are assessed. All we can do is the rate, the tax rate, and that's the reason we chose to lower our tax rate, you know, when everyone else is raising it. We're lowering ours so that hopefully it offsets a little bit. I mean, it's not gonna offset it all,
Yeah.
but it offsets a little bit to our taxpayers. We wanted to lower it even more. However, and you know, we're certainly very transparent. I'll tell you exactly the reasoning or some, the thinking that goes into this is that, let's say we lower it a nickel, okay? The average taxpayer might save $100 a year. While your green energy, your oil and gas, the big companies, they save hundreds of thousands of dollars, which we desperately need. So that's the reason we try and find a medium where, you know, we don't lose all that money from the big taxpayer, and yet we help our regular taxpayer a little bit.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that answers your question, but what the commissioner said is perfectly correct. You know, when it comes to rates, you need to appeal to the appraisal district.
Okay.
And as your tax assessor, if you have any further questions, I can walk you through and help you, direct you into how, the steps you need to take,
Okay, appreciate it.
So whenever you're available, I'm at the office.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, our tax rate last year was 0.7784. This year be 0.763. So it is coming down a little more than a penny and a half. You know, and one of the reasons that we were able to do that is because of the increased value that we had in the county, and that is because of the green energy, the wind and solar companies that are coming in. And that helped offset some of the taxes that are being paid by other people. So if that continues, hopefully, you know, I'm not going to promise anything. It's up to the court as to what they want to do. But hopefully we can continue working on that. But everything, I mean, everything is really expensive, you know,
Oh, yeah.
very expensive.
So you can.
Any other question? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I have an apartment complex, or like 36 units aquí for the hospital road out here.
Okay.
I was paying 28 a year, and now it's 47,000. And the only way I can pay that if I increase the rents, which are already real high.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's gonna be real hard for us to keep operating with the 47,000 a year. I mean, it's just something, I don't know if it's here or the appraisal says to come here, now they're telling us to go over there, you know.
Yeah, we have nothing to do with the
With the
rate.
appraisal?
I mean, with the appraisal value.
Right.
Not, that is strictly the appraisal district. Now, in all fairness, the appraisal district, they were reviewed by the state. And the state was the one that said you need to increase your values. So that's why it happened. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here, and, you know, a lot of times my mouth gets me in trouble, but, you know, I like to call a spade a spade. The only argument that I have about that is that, because there's areas where it went up almost 400%, you know, and to me, that sets all kind of flags. Why wasn't the appraisal district more up to date and maybe increased it throughout the years instead of one big step?
Yeah.
So I have an issue with that, but I have no say. I have absolutely no say whatsoever on values. So, you know, I sympathize with you, you know, we all experience the same thing. But, you know,
So I guess the next thing for me to do is go back to the appraisal and say, okay,
yeah.
show me
But
why
with
you appraised it at.
Appeal it and talk with the review board.
Well, they increased it double,
Say,
and then they came down and it ends up at 47,000. So,
okay, so you were a lot more. You were paying a lot more than 47?
I was paying 28,000.
Y luego te fuiste.
Y ahora con they increased it double.
Sí.
Y ahora se bajaron y sale a 47,000 at the end. That's what I'm going. That's the new thing now. 47,000 instead of 28.
Yeah, they probably already did some adjustments
Sí.
to get it down un poquito.
You know, but, I mean, the property, it's been there over almost 20 years, and I mean, it needs all kinds of new stuff, and, you know, and they say the value's that high, and it's really not, you know, it's really not. If you really go and you know numbers and you know construction, it's not what they're saying, but,
Yeah.
because I guess I gotta go back over there
Yeah,
and see.
it's like the commissioner says, if you can take those figures with you and justify why it's, in your opinion, is high, then you might have a fighting chance to lower it some more. But it has to be over there, we can do it.
And they're checking on everything. Si tienes techitos, también they're including in the taxes también.
Right, and they're not worth what they're saying they're
No.
worth. That's the thing.
Now, you're not the only one. Hay otro guy que también he went to complain with us, but we can't do nothing there, the appraisal district, because I'm part of the board. Pero he went through the review board y a la mejor, I don't know, ya no supe de él, pero I think he got a little bit of a discount también. Maybe go, appeal it y habla con el review board a ver qué te dice.
Ahí donde vivo fue un guy, and he complained that he was paying too little, that his house was valued at, it was valued too low, that his house was valued too low. And I get it, está bueno, pero no vivimos acá donde viven las casas grandes acá, estamos allá en el country state.
Yeah.
So a mí me dijeron que, because of him, que he complained about it, ahí con ustedes, que se subieron también causa por él.
No, lo que pasa es que el Estado, si no me equivoco, es una compañía de San Marcos que nos balancea todo el Estado, ¿me entiendes? O ellos son los que te dicen, mira, aquí estas casas es lo que debes de tener más o menos, o we're there, pero como dice el judge, debían de verle de poquito a poquito,
Yeah.
no de un jalón 400%.
And the reason for the state review board is that the state wants to make sure that everyone is on the
Está
same
pagando más o
playing
menos.
field.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't want, say for example, you take a county like Kennedy County, where the major owners are 3 people that own the county. Okay. They could go in and say, well, the land here is worth $10 an acre, so that they don't have to pay a bunch of franchise tax and all that to the state. Where everyone else, the neighboring counties are at $1,000, $3,000 an acre. So they don't want that to happen, so they want them to pay their fair share in state taxes. So that's the reason they want to, it's an equalization board, they want to keep the whole state equal. You know, so, I mean, there's good reasoning why these things are there. The problem is that to double or triple is too much of a jump all at once,
All at once, yeah.
but that's how it is. Any other question, concern? Hope we answered your questions, and thank y'all for coming by.
Yes, sir.
You know, we really appreciate input from the public. A lot of times we make decisions thinking that is what's best. If we don't hear from y'all, you know, then we have no way of knowing
Yes,
if
sir.
what we're doing is correct or not. So we thank all of you for coming by. If there's no other questions, I guess that concludes our public hearing.